Hey, I've got a book to read. So, you remember yesterday we read a book in reading class and we talked about activating that prior knowledge. Thinking about, that means think about what we already know. If it was about snow, what do we know about snow? If it's about polar bears, what do we know about polar bears? If it's about Jesus, what do we know about Jesus? So, this book today, it's it's a nonfiction book because it tells a story, part of the story of Christmas from the Bible. So I believe it is. Now, as I read it, we may change our minds. We may see that there's something that we're like, oh no, that's not true. They've made this like a makeup story, but I believe that it's nonfiction. So you read it with me and let's see. I also want you to think about what you know about it. I'll show you the picture on the front. What do you see there? A star. Now, what do you know about stars? Well, we know they're out at night. We see them at night. They're lights in the sky. What do we know? And then you know some other things about stars too. Go ahead and say them. And then what do we know about the star at Christmas? Because there was something about a bright light. We're going to talk more next week about the star, and in the story it's going to tell us, I think, some about what's going to happen, how God's going to use this star. But it also makes me think of the light of the world, Jesus, because it's a bright light, right? Now then there's also the lamb there. We know he was born in a stable. Shepherds, sheep, that's going to be part of our Bible lesson next week too. Okay, so A Star for Jesus by Crystal Bowman. So that is the author, which means she wrote the words in this book. Now, even if it's a nonfiction book, even if it's all true and it's from the Bible, we could have an author write it because she's going to say it in a certain way that it's her words. It can be true, but she's still writing it with her words. She's not going to just actually copy the Bible verses. If we did that, that would just be the Bible. That would be God that wrote it, right? But she's going to use her words in a way that says it, but it can still be true. I hope that makes sense. And then it says illustrations by Claudine Gevray. Now, illustrations by, what does that mean? She drew the picture. She thought about a star and she's like, how do I want that star to look? So that's so fun when we do art, to be creative and not just do what the person next to us is doing or what we've seen before. We definitely want to get ideas of things we've seen before, but it's good for us to think like, what do I think that star looked like? Like the Bible said it was a really, really bright star. So I can go off of that, but how I picture it looking might look very different from how you picture it looking, huh? That's really cool. Okay, so I'll read it and then I'll show you the pictures. See all the stars, so tiny and bright, that twinkle and glow and light up the night? God made the stars and put them up high to shine down on earth from up in the sky. Ooh, I have a couple things I want to talk about here. So first, the author chose to write this using rhymes. Did you hear the rhymes? So I heard bright and night. I heard high and sky. Cool. She also used a lot of high frequency words. So I see the word see. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this so you could see them. See. I see the and that. Is that one of her words yet? Up. No, that's not one. God. We know God. Down. So very cool. This is what you want to start doing, thinking of ways that you could write something and then write it. Do you notice how we have our meatball spaces in between words, spaghetti spaces in between letters of words? We have end marks, we have capitals at the beginning. All that's important so we can read it right. Okay, so she's talking about stars, that God made them. What do you think she's going to talk about next page? Let's see. One special night, a long time ago, a new star appeared with a radiant glow. The people all wondered, what could this be? What does it mean, this star that we see? So B and C. And then I heard a lot of questions in there. A go and glow rhyme. Okay, so she was talking about stars. Now she's going down to one special night and a special star. What do you think about that special night? What do you think that special night's going to be? Maybe Christmas? Maybe when Jesus was born? Let's see. Some men, this is what we're going to talk about next week. Some men from the east who studied the skies came up with the answer because they were wise. The star means that Jesus, our Savior, has come, a newborn king who is God's only son. So we're going to learn more about this in Bible next week. Very cool. Skies and wise, come sun. That doesn't actually rhyme. The star means that Jesus, our Savior, has come, a newborn king who is God's only son. Sounds similar. She didn't come up with an exact rhyme there. The wise men decided to follow the star. They traveled for miles as their journey was far. The star led them all the way to a town where they found Jesus and they bowed to the ground. Come, let us worship. Let us bow down and worship. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. Have we learned that Bible verse yet? I feel like we have. If we haven't, it's one we're going to learn. All right, so there they are. They traveled on what? We knew this. Camels back then. They didn't have cars or trains. So this is so far true, right? This is nonfiction. Okay, so she's got star and far, town and ground. The wise men said, here are the gifts that we bring, incense and myrrh and gold for the king. They worshiped the Savior. They went on their way rejoicing that they had seen Jesus that day. Okay, we'll talk more about this next week. But we're looking at the pictures. We see wise men. Who do you think that is? Mary. And that might be one of the wise men, yes, because he's got a gift with him. What about this guy? Who do you think that is? So that's Mary. That's Jesus. That would be Joseph. One more page. Oh, okay. So now we're not back at the Christmas scene, are we? No, we're in, where are we? Probably in someone's home. Maybe a brother and sister. So next time you look at the stars shining bright, remember that the star that glowed in the night to let the world know of the dear Savior's birth when God sent his son down from heaven to earth. Earth and birth. Did you get that? So that's what we've talked about a lot this week. That star that we might put on a Christmas tree. It might be on ornaments, decorations to remind us. So that's really neat. We could think of a lot of things that made sense to us because we just learned about this in Bible, and you've probably heard the Christmas story before. We've been in a house with a Christmas tree, so we can relate to that. Ooh, snow, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. I hope you're reading. I love hearing you read your pre-decodable books. Your reading skills are getting better and better. So you've got to keep practicing. So find books around the house. Just find them. That's what I'm doing. And then, actually, I got these in our classroom. I went digging through the classroom bookshelf and found them. But find some books in your house. Go through. There were so many sight words in here. And if you use your finger and you start at the top left and you go, like there's the word one, the number one, you are going to see a lot of words that you know. So if you read those words, you look at the pictures, you sound out some of the other simple words, you're going to be able to figure out a lot of that, and you're just going to become a better reader, which is awesome. Reading is awesome.